Insightful podcasts by informative hosts. Insights into Things, a podcast network. Welcome to Insights into Entertainment, a podcast series taking a deeper look into entertainment and media. Your hosts, Joseph and Michelle Whalen, a husband and wife team of pop culture fanatics, are exploring all things from music and movies to television and fandom.
Welcome to Insights into Entertainment. This is episode 124, Yehaa, Bob, and the Sith Lords. I'm your host, Joseph Whalen, and my bright and sunshiny co-host, Michelle Whalen.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today, dear?
I am good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Explain why you're our bright and sunshiny co-host today.
So, I guess a couple months back, you had gotten a little music box that plays the Star Wars theme song.
Yes, I did. Anyway,
so you thought you were going to be cool and get me one that happened to be the Haunted Mansion. So when you open the box, it actually has, Haunted Mansion, and it has the Hatbox Ghost. And then you go and play it. So you think, oh, it's going to be the Haunted Mansion theme song. And it's...
not very Haunted Mansion-y. You are my sunshine. Yeah, that was not the desired effect.
Yeah, so that's... yeah, so it says Haunted Mansion, Hatbox Ghost, but you're my sunshine.
Yeah, well, and had I actually gone and read the reviews on it...
the reviews from everybody on.
I would have known my purchasing error.
That's okay, because now it's this great inside joke with the family.
There you go.
There you go.
And the show. So
and the show.
Now,
so
you are my sunshine should be the new theme song for the show.
There you go.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
It's not.
Well, we are. We're done talking about it.
Bad Amazon review.
Yeah, really. Amazon, by the way, folks, just so you know.
Yeah.
But today in our Disney Detective, say hello to Yehaa Bob and dining 220 miles above the Earth. And then in our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy, which we're going to be mixing things up a little bit today, I'll actually be doing that segment. I'm not sure why, but I am. But in our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy...
because I asked nicely.
Is Darth Vader the way? Plus, old favorites from the Old Republic. And then we'll go back to you, my dear, for our entertainment news, where we'll talk about Mobius in the Mansion and TMZ sells out to Fox Entertainment. And then we'll finish up with our insightful picks of the week. I got a really cool one this week. It's a documentary, but it's a really cool documentary. And we have a few afterthoughts, but we lopped one off of the list at least, so it should be a little bit shorter.
We moved on.
Right. So that's what the show is today. But before we get into all that, I would invite our listeners to subscribe to the podcast. So we had talked a couple episodes back about changing our video hosting provider.
Right.
That is now complete, thankfully. I was able to move all 123 previous episodes of this show, our Insights into Teens, and I think 15 episodes of Insights into Tomorrow over, which was a Herculean task, to say the least. But it's all done. We're moved over. Our new URLs are all up. Everything should be working fine. If you want to get audio versions of this podcast, you can subscribe to Insights into Entertainment. If you want video versions of all the network's podcasts, you can subscribe to Insights into Things. We are listed on Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, and pretty much any place you can get a subscription. Or podcast, not a subscription, because you can get subscriptions a lot of other places.
Right.
I would also invite folks to give us your feedback. Give us your shows. We want to talk about your pop culture shows, your toy shows, your comic book shows. Give us your shows so we can plug them on our show. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com or on Twitter at insights_things. We do take direct messages on Twitter, by the way. That's an open invitation. We're also available on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast or on Instagram at instagram.com/insightsintothings, or links to all those can be found on our website at insightsintothings.com, not with the www. I'm still having problems with that on our domain provider, so I have to fix that. Just insightsintothings.com.
Okay.
Yes, I discovered that during the whole changeover of the video hosting, so that's kind of a bummer, but I'll get it fixed.
Okay.
Anyway, ready to get into it?
Sure.
All right. Go for Disney Detective.
So this was kind of uplifting news to hear. So more entertainment is returning to Walt Disney World, as Bob Jackson, who is also known as Yehaa Bob, just confirmed that he will be coming back to Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. So in case you're not aware, Yehaa Bob was a Disney World entertainment performer for 23 years. Guests could find him putting on a fun and unique show over at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside almost every night as Yehaa Bob. He would play the piano, sing familiar tunes, and somehow would manage to get every person up out of their seats, creating memories that would last a lifetime. So unfortunately, Yehaa Bob was part of the massive layoffs that happened last year due to the ongoing pandemic. So it was unclear if he would return to the Walt Disney Company. This news affected many Disney fans as long as, let's try this again. The news affected many Disney fans as not long after the layoff was announced, a Change.org petition actually surfaced asking Disney to rehire him at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. So now, nearly 1 year later, we have some great news to share as Bob Jackson himself confirmed that he would be returning to Port Orleans Riverside when it reopens to guests next month. There was a TikTok video where Bob Jackson said that, Disney had called him in the afternoon asking him to return to his stage at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside on October 14th. So at this time, the Walt Disney World website has not updated anything to include showtimes, but obviously, as it gets a little closer, they'll probably have some more information. So Disney World had described this fan-favorite entertainment offering as, head over to this cozy club at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside and enjoy boogie-woogie musical stylings and comedy from a local legend. Sing along to Disney standards, songbook classics, and kid-friendly ditties. You may even get called upon to participate in the show. And as a little side note, once he was laid off from Disney, he actually was doing a live show every Sunday night from his home, and he would post it on Facebook Live. So he would go live, and you'd always see hundreds of people logging in. He would usually do the show for like an hour of various things, and he had a monitor set up so he could read comments that people were doing and everything. So unfortunately, it's a show that we've actually never seen, and we have stayed at Port Orleans Riverside.
Well, and it was going on the one night.
It was going on the one night, and there were no seats available. Yeah. And then the other night when we were going to happened to be the night that he didn't perform, because I think, he performs like 6 nights a week or something. Right. So the one night that we wanted to go, we couldn't. And there are people that will stay at that resort just so that they can see a couple of his shows. Yeah. Because it's, it's one of those things where it's never the same show twice, but there's so many familiar aspects to the show. So hearing this news is very uplifting that things are starting to kind of come back.
It's nice
Disney,
to see that Disney is still trying to get things back into that swing. They're bringing back some of the favorites. They might even get to the point where I'm slightly interested in going back again. Mm-hmm. We're not there yet.
No.
We've got a long ways to go to get there before I'm comfortable and before I'm willing to spend the kind of money that Disney's asking for the diminished experience that they still are having.
Right.
But I expect them to continue to improve there, and hopefully we'll get there.
Here's to hoping.
If that doesn't bring you back, maybe dining 220 miles above the Earth, Bill. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so this is something that Disney World fans have been very excited waiting for this to open up. Obviously, you have the 50th anniversary, which is quickly approaching, and there's all these new offerings for guests to enjoy, explore, and indulge in. But before all the festivities begin on October 1st, there is something that will be opening beforehand. So it's the Patina Group restaurant that will be running Space 220, and that will finally open.
Is that how much each meal is?
I don't know, probably. Well, they'll finally be opening their doors next week on September 20th at Epcot. The location was originally meant to open last February. Still, it was delayed and then pushed back because of the pandemic. So now guests are kind of, very interested in this new dining option that we've been hearing about for so long. So Space 220 will let guests feel like they are actually dining in space, creating an immersive dining experience like no other. Now, guests can get more excited as a new website has been launched, which has also allowed future space travelers to see the concept art of the iconic elevator that will shuttle them into the solar system. The elevator is meant to transport guests 220 miles above the Earth and will be an integral aspect of the guest experience and overall storyline of the location. Currently, the new website is quite barren in terms of information. Not much information has been released as of yet. So hopefully once the restaurant actually opens, there'll be some more information on there. So the official Walt Disney World description of the restaurant reads, it talks about it being a stellar adventure where you get to embark on the ultimate culinary exploration from this new expansion of Mission Space Pavilion. Step inside Space 220, a celestial panorama of a space station for a delicious meal. As you dine, peer out and enjoy amazing daytime and nighttime views of Earth from 220 miles up. Your journey begins when you board a special space elevator that will ascend you to the stars. Along the way, viewports will give you an aerial view of Epcot as you travel high above the planet. And upon your arrival, you will dine on a menu featuring modern American cuisine, more than 1,000 bottles of the world's finest wine, and a wide variety selection of craft beer.
Sounds like somebody's getting drunk. 1,000 bottles of wine. Jeez.
Yeah. Let's have 500 of them. So this sounds, almost like, it's funny because they use the immersive experience.
It's Star Wars restaurant.
Right. It's Star Wars restaurant, and you don't have to, pay $6,000 to...
We don't know yet.
Well, more than likely, I'm hoping.
Pretty sure the 220 is gonna be the base price for a meal.
I'm sure that's going to be like the ongoing joke is that 220 is, So, obviously it's not as...
At this restaurant, the sky's the limit.
Right. It's not the futuristic in space. This is more... quote-unquote realistic.
It's contemporary dining in space.
Right. Like, if we could, this is how it would happen. So
and if you don't pay the bill, there's an airlock with your name on it.
Right. So there's not going to be a stormtrooper coming in or anything. I could see, like, astronauts, if they got corny enough.
Is SpaceX selling, like, marketing banners and stuff?
Right.
See a SpaceX ship go by
that would be kind of funny. So,
Elon Musk floating by.
Well, his car, because didn't have the Tesla go by. Like, oh, that's where it is. So kind of cool. They've been talking about this for a while, that they've wanted to add something, a restaurant to this. So kind of interesting to have this. Okay, fine.
Look, you need more than this to bring me back to Disney.
I know.
An exceptionally expensive dining experience isn't going to bring me back.
Right, exactly. This isn't now that this is opening, all right, I'm there, sign me up. Right. No, but it's nice that they're, starting to reopen things, but also bring
it's a cool concept. It's nice to see that Disney has learned to do different things with computer monitors. I mean, that's really what this is. It's basically a restaurant that has a bunch of computer monitors for Windows.
Right.
And they've managed to sync them up. Kudos to Disney for coming up with video technology. Wow. I'm sorry. It's just... Okay. It's not that impressive to me.
Okay. I wasn't waiting for the restaurant to open. It wasn't like, woo, sign me up.
But, I don't know. There's so many other things that Disney needs to be doing to make the experience right that this isn't even on that list of top 20.
Okay.
So, anyway, that was all I didn't give me anything else to bash Disney about today, so I had to pick on something, right?
I had to find something.
That was all we had for our Disney Detective. We'll be right back, and I'll have our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy. How exciting. For over 7 years, the Second Sith Empire has been the premier community guild in the online game Star Wars: The Old Republic. With hundreds of friendly and helpful active members, a weekly schedule of nightly events, annual guild meet and greets, and an active community both on the web and on Discord. The Second Sith Empire is more than your typical gaming group. We're family. Join us on the Starforge server for nightly events such as operations, flashpoints, world boss hunts, Star Wars trivia, guild lottery, and much more. Visit us on the web today at www.thesecondsithempire.com. This week in our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy, Darth Vader might be joining the Mandalorian universe. Inside the Magic tells us when Mandalorian Season 2 ended with its spectacular final episode, Chapter 16, The Rescue, Star Wars fans were already processing a lot before the credits even rolled. You had the return of Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, you had bounty hunter Din Djarin wielding the Darksaber, and of course you had Grogu leaving with Luke Skywalker and R2-D2. Then in a post-credit scene, nobody was expecting, Mandalorian showrunner Jon Favreau and executive producer Dave Filoni announced a brand new series, The Book of Boba Fett. The scene, which took place sometime after Fett and Shan parted ways with Djarin and his motley crew of heroes, including Cara Dune and Bo-Katan, took us back to a very familiar location in the Star Wars universe, Jabba the Hutt's palace on Tatooine. Jabba, of course, was killed by Princess Leia in Star Wars Episode 4, 5, 6. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. There's so many episodes now, it's hard to keep them straight. But the Mandalorian post-credit scene, we learn his former right-hand man, Twi'lek Bib Fortuna, has taken his throne. Shan makes quick work of Fortuna's henchman and frees a slave who was shackled to the floor, but leaves Fortuna himself for Fett. Once the Twi'lek is unceremoniously killed, Fett takes the throne, signaling that he's about to take Tatooine, and who knows where else in the Star Wars galaxy for himself. To date, the Book of Boba Fett showrunner Robert Rodriguez and series directors like Favreau and Filoni have all remained unsurprisingly tight-lipped about the upcoming Mandalorian spin-off, which Favreau has billed as The Mandalorian Season 2.5. Furthermore, it has been confirmed that the show will go back in time to the original trilogy era, perhaps telling us once and for all how Fett survived the Sarlacc pit. These details, however scant, have most Mandoverse fans thinking we are likely to see a number of cameos throughout the show, which is set to air in December 2021. While Marshal Cobb Vanth and Han Solo are both frontrunners to show up, there's also a very viable possibility that Darth Vader himself will make his way into the Mandalorian universe. Fett, after all, has been connected to the Dark Lord of the Sith since Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, and it seems highly unlikely that Rodriguez and his team could stage a return to the original trilogy era without including Vader in some capacity. What is perhaps most intriguing is that we know that both the Book of Boba Fett and the upcoming Deborah Chow series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, both recently finished filming at the Volume soundstage. Hayden Christensen was, of course, on hand for Obi-Wan Kenobi, as he will be reprising his prequel trilogy role as Darth Vader alongside Ewan McGregor's Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who's to say that Christensen didn't film scenes for both shows while he was on the set for the Kenobi series? This, of course, remains unconfirmed by Lucasfilm, but the appearance of Darth Vader in at least one flashback scene in the Book of Boba Fett almost feels like a foregone conclusion given the relationship between the notorious bounty hunter and the Sith Lord. While this remains speculation at this time, there's even the possibility that the Book of Boba Fett could somehow tie Darth Vader and Grogu together. Thanks to Ahsoka Tano, we know that the tiny foundling was present on Coruscant at the Jedi Temple during the execution of Order 66 and Anakin's siege on the younglings. Fans want more of Baby Yoda's origin story, and what better way to deliver than to connect him to one of the most famous Star Wars characters of all time. Now, you know I am not going to complain at all if this is the route that we wind up going.
Right. Oh, absolutely. You want more Vader all the time.
And, you know, I had not even considered the possibility that he might be making a comeback in here because it is set post Return of the Jedi when he's dead. And
that was the thing, too, when I had first heard that he might be in it. I'm like, well, wait a second. We know he's dead. We know... You know, at the end of Return of the Jedi, look, there's his ghost. He's dead. So how is he supposed to make it? Then reading that they were going to be doing flashbacks, I was like, all right, that makes sense. Because we don't know where Boba Fett's been. And
the speculation is right. He has been very much tied. Because even if you look at the novels and the comics, he's fought Vader on numerous occasions. And beaten him a couple of times, actually.
Right.
So it would be an awesome opportunity to see Vader at all. Mm-hmm. It'd be even cooler to see Vader in action.
Right.
That would be cool. Speaking of seeing people, Ghost in particular, in action,
Ooh.
Our second story comes from Gizmodo, and they talk about the Star Wars Old Republic striking back in this look inside a new anthology. The current Star Wars canon may be embracing the time of the High Republic, which takes place 200 years before the current events of the movies. But in the series' old expanded universe, now the legends of Star Wars fiction beyond the realm of canon, the Old Republic rules the roost. Last week, we saw Darth Revan's return in the Knights of the Old Republic remake, and now another Sith Lord contemplates war in the sneak peek inside Star Wars Insider's latest anthology. IO9 has a look inside Star Wars Insider Fiction Collection Volume 2. As if none of it, the canon stuff isn't fiction. I love that.
Because it's all true.
Yeah. This is the magazine's second collection of classic original fiction from decades of storytelling. Since its launch, Insider has played host to new adventures from iconic Star Wars writers from the height of the old expanded universe all the way into the current era of canon, such as Alan Dean Foster, Mur Lafferty, Alexander Freed, David J. Williams, Mark S. Williams, and these include ongoing short stories set in the High Republic period that have revitalized Insider as a home for new bits of Star Wars storytelling. But this look inside the latest collection goes back thousands of years and into the Star Wars legends for a tale from the world of BioWare's Star Wars: The Old Republic, a game that I play and am quite fond of. That itself is set thousands of years before the movies and 300 after the events of the beloved duology, Knights of the Old Republic, and its sequel, The Sith Lords. It's also worth mentioning that the next role-playing adventure that we do is going to be set in that period as well. We're going to be doing a Star Wars role-playing. The third lesson by Paul S. Kemp and featuring art from Marek Oko follows Old Republic villain Darth Malgus. It's set after the Empire's crushing rout from the planet Alderaan during the ongoing fire of the war between the Old Republic and the Sith, as depicted in one of the game's cinematic trailers, which is magnificently done, called Hope. So this is kind of, I don't know if they're going anywhere with this. It would be really neat to see them do something else with this. But Malgus is one of those recurring characters in the game itself. You know, he was a key character early in the game, and then you killed him, and then he came back, and then you killed him, and then he came back. So he's very similar to Revan in that respect, where Revan's died probably a dozen times at this point in time.
So you just can't kill a good Sith.
You can't keep a good Sith down.
Now, what is interesting is the website that this article came from actually had an excerpt of the book.
Right.
So if anybody is interested in reading any of it, you can go to...
Yes, for copyright reasons, I did not include that in the article.
Right. I didn't either. So just saying, if you wanted to go and read, if you're a fan of this, here's a way where you could go and read a couple of pages for free.
Absolutely.
So.
And Darth Malgus is always a cool one. We have, if I can I get the shot here?
I don't know. Can you?
Try that one. No, try that one. So Darth Malgus is
right
on
there.
the Star Wars game. I have a original piece of artwork that my loving wife purchased for me, which is really cool. And I have the Malgus statue and the action figure and, you know, pretty much anything Malgus that I can get my hands on. I have a lightsaber, too. I have that. So.
Because who got you that?
I did. Yeah, the Malgus lightsaber was the one, a custom one that I had made at the...
you sure that wasn't the one that... Okay.
No, you got me Revan.
Oh, okay. I got you
I'll
Revan.
give you
All
full
right,
props for
all
Revan.
right. Just saying.
And Palpatine.
And Palpatine.
Anyway.
And your Darksaber. And, you know.
Yes. Yes. They have the new Darksaber coming out, I want, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And the new Leia, the new Rey saber is coming out,
Right.
too. So
I
that's
want
another,
Leia's saber.
That's another good one. You have to go to Disney to get that.
Disney.
That's rough, I know. Anyway, that's all we had for
Good
Tales
job,
from the
honey.
Edge of the Galaxy. I do apologize because usually I have it scrolling in different shots and stuff, and I don't have the hand-eye coordination to read and push buttons at the same time.
But I think you did a much better job than I would have.
Thank you.
So.
I'm not sure of that, but I appreciate it. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we'll throw it back to you for our entertainment news.
Okay. Insights into Teens, a podcast series exploring the issues and challenges of today's youth. Talking to real teens about real teen problems. Explore issues from braces to puberty, social anxiety to financial responsibility. Each week, we talk about the topics concerning today's youth. We look at how the issues affect teens, how to cope with these issues, and how parents, friends, and loved ones can help teens handle these challenges. Check out our video episodes on youtube.com/insightsintothings. Catch our audio versions on podcast.insightsintoteens.com. or on the web at insightsintothings.com.
Go for entertainment news.
So from The Hollywood Reporter, it seems that now we have another star that has signed on to the new Haunted Mansion movie that's going to be coming out. So Owen Wilson has now joined the cast of The Haunted Mansion, Disney's family adventure spookfest based on one of the company's signature theme park rides. So Wilson joins Lakeith Stanfield and Tiffany Haddish in a role that hasn't been determined or hasn't been mentioned, but it kind of sounds like the whole movie is going to be kind of an ensemble in nature. So story details are still being kept in the dark, but it is known that the film will follow a family that moves into the mansion. However, the characters around the family will have, a big portion of the moonlight to shine on them. The project is actually going to begin shooting in Atlanta in October, and it is the latest to be based on one of the company's classic rides. Obviously, over the summer we had Jungle Cruise, which was inspired by the theme park attraction as well. So Wilson became a fan favorite when he played Mobius, a middle manager who works with Tom Hiddleston's Lord of Mischief in Marvel's Loki, the series that unspooled in June and July on Disney+. The comedic actor also will be seen in this fall's The French Dispatch, the latest film from frequent collaborator Wes Anderson, and recently wrapped shooting on the romantic comedy Marry Me opposite Jennifer Lopez.
I have to say that I was never really a fan of his. Up until I saw Loki.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated the job that he did in Loki, so I'll allow this. This is acceptable.
Yeah, and there was somebody on, I think it was one of my Haunted Mansion fan groups on Facebook. Somebody, now again, I don't know how real it was, seemed somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, got a hold of a copy of the script, and it kind of sounded like his character was like a relative of Master Gracie, maybe?
This isn't that behind-the-scenes person who gave us all that bogus information about The Mandalorian, is it?
No, this was somebody completely different. So again, It was kind of like, I don't know if that's true or not, and everybody basically said, I don't know, maybe it is, So it'll be interesting to see when...
Well, and we really don't even have any idea what the premise of the plot is at this point in time, so I'm hoping...
Right.
It's one of the original Haunted Mansion stories.
Right, that it's something a little bit more spooky.
Right.
But
I really don't hope this. I hope this is not a remake of the Eddie Murphy one that was just terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible.
You liked it because it was a Haunted Mansion.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you could have smeared dog poo all over the screen and you still would have liked it.
No, not if there was
I want something, because the Haunted Mansion, and there's a number of stories associated with the Haunted Mansion.
Absolutely.
And all of them are really cool stories.
Right.
They're spooky ghost stories.
Right.
They're not these goofy love stories that the original Haunted Mansion one was. It was just terrible.
Right. No, I get it.
So I'd love to see the Mariner one. I'm kind of partial to the Mariner's Haunted Mansion story.
Captain Culpepper.
Him, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Dr. Pepper, right.
Culpepper.
I know. It's be trying to be funny and failing miserably.
Oh, is that it? Oh.
I'm used to it. Dad jokes, another service I offer.
Right.
Speaking of dad jokes, it has nothing to do with this next story, but apparently Fox Entertainment bought the rag, TMZ.
Yeah, so coming from CNN.com, it seems that TMZ is now part of Fox Entertainment. The company announced this past Monday. So the news and entertainment brand, best known for breaking news on celebrity gossips, Gossip and Deaths was previously owned by...
That's something to brag
yeah,
about.
it was like, woo! Was previously owned by Warner Media. Warner Media's parent company, AT&T, has been shedding assets to help pay down its debt and pave the way for investments for 5G. So the telecom giant sold an anime brand, Crunchyroll, to Sony, and its TV service DirecTV to TPG Capital. So they're just like giving everything away. Well, selling it. They're not giving it away. So Warner Media is also slated to be spun off and combined with Discovery. So Harvey Levin, the managing editor of TMZ, who co-founded the company in 2005, will actually stay on board and report up to Fox's management. Other terms of the deal were not disclosed. Now, Fox Corporation executive chairman and CEO Lachlan Murdoch said in a statement, "The unique and powerful brand Harvey has created in TMZ has forever changed the entertainment industry, and we are excited to welcome them to Fox." Fox will operate all of TMZ's channels, including its programs, TMZ and TMZ Live, which already air on 18 network affiliates owned by Fox television stations, according to the release. "When I see a breaking celebrity-related story that is equal parts shocking, fun, and addictive, I know it's TMZ," said Fox Entertainment CEO Charlie Collier in a statement. "Whether via broadcast or digital, TMZ has brought its brand-defining energy and sense of urgency to fans across the planet."
You know, in defense of CEO Murdoch here, he did say that they forever changed the entertainment industry. He didn't say for good or bad.
Right, that is true.
I'm really not sure what appealed, what appealing trait the TMZ have for anybody to acquire it.
Yeah.
And you only stuck this in here because I actually had a TMZ story in a show a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
No.
You even called me on the carpet on it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go back and watch the tail of the tape. There was one that I had in here a few weeks ago that was a TMZ story. You're like, you put a TMZ story in here? Because you know how much I love TMZ.
I honestly, I don't know.
I'm almost as big a fan of TMZ as I am of Disney. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
I just threw it in there because it popped up. It was really what it was. It wasn't
Anyway.
anything.
That was all we had on our entertainment news for this week. We'll be back momentarily with our insightful picks of the week. Go for your insightful pick.
So my insightful pick of the week, I'm going back to PBS, happens to be a mystery called the Frankie Drake Mysteries. It is set in 1920s Toronto, and the series follows the adventures of Frankie Drake and her partner Trudy Clark at the Drake Private Detectives Agency. It's the city's only all-female detective agency as they find themselves fighting crime in an age of flyboys, gangsters, rum runners, and speakeasies. It's one of those shows where you don't necessarily have to watch it in order. It seems, according to the information that I found, they only did 4 seasons of it, and it wasn't renewed for anything else. So the 4 seasons kind of just continue to play on PBS. It originally was a Canadian show that was on Canadian TV, and then PBS brought it over, so that's where a lot of the seasons are. But it's interesting because you kind of get to see that, 1920s, and every now and then they have a couple of, historical figures that come in, but it's interesting to see, the underground parts of things, again, like the speakeasies and things like that, and all these different characters that kind of come in and change throughout the season. So the shows are 45 minutes long, and it's your classic whodunit. Somebody always gets killed or murdered, and it's, them to figure out why or who, and all of that with their little team that they have that they put together. So,
All right, cool pick.
thank you.
And my pick this week, as promised, is kind of a cool one on Netflix called Spycraft. Spycraft is a new Netflix docuseries that takes viewers on a guided tour through the work and tech of espionage. Each of the 8 half-hour episodes focuses on a specific topic, highlighting an assortment of gadgets and techniques, then backing it all up with historical context, covering how these resources are put to use in the field. Spycraft is filled with little historical nuggets of information, such as there's the bullet that was fitted with a tiny microphone, or the covert communication device that transmits messages through the water between 2 specially designed fishing rods, or the squad of East German spies known as the Romeos, as they were called, tasked with seducing women who were in a position to pass along information and who were deemed susceptible to acts of, quote, sexpionage. Personally, I've been fascinated by the technology and techniques of spying for a long time. Spycraft seems to check most of the boxes as far as the guilty pleasures of mine go with Spycraft and gadgets and, the cloak and dagger stuff. You get an intimate look at some of the more unique pieces of technology. You also get a great history lesson on some of the more dirty details of the spy world. Broken down into the 8 episodes, they do a great job of dedicating just the right amount of time to each topic. And I can honestly say I learned a number of things I didn't know prior to going into the show, and even more details on some of the things that I did know. So it's a really cool show. It's done documentary style. They do some animations. They do some recreations, and they kind of keep the whole thing moving pretty quickly. They don't get bogged down in a lot of the technical details that tends to bore people. So Spycraft on Netflix. It's an 8-part series. And we'll be right back. So what do we have for afterthoughts?
So we have a bunch of things coming up. First off is
RetroCon.
And that is coming up in a couple of weeks, September 25th and 26th at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. Also that weekend, if you are in the Hunt Valley, Maryland area, you have Monster Mania 47. And then a month later, October 22nd through the 24th, is Monster Mania 48, which will be at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks. But before it comes to Oaks, the first weekend of the first weekend of October is Brickfest, the October 2nd and 3rd. Again at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, and it's a fun expo to go to if you are into Legos and seeing the displays, and they have automated ones. We went the one year, and that was kind of at the start of our daughter being into Legos. Like now she's a little bit more into it and building her own type of thing, so this might be one that we go to depending on band.
Yes, band.
We are now band parents, so every weekend is band. And then, of course, October 9th and 10th, if you are in the area of Newcastle, Delaware, you have the Delaware Train Show on Saturday, and on Sunday is the Oktoberfest Toy Show, both hosted in the same location at the Shrine Center. That happens to be, we've never gone to the train show. We always just go to the toy show, but lots of older toys, retro toys, some new toys sometimes.
I always find something there that I'm either desperately looking for or never thought I wanted, but I almost always walk out of there with something.
Right. So that's, and it's not a huge area, so you don't usually spend a lot of time there. It'll be interesting to see how they do it, during the
Yeah, because
pandemic.
it's usually pretty densely packed in there.
Right, so I don't know if they're
They
going to...
might be cutting down the number of vendors. They
Right,
might
I was
be
going to
opening it
say
up a
they
little
might
bit
not
more.
have as many vendors
Yeah.
there, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully we'll be able to get there for that. And that's it as of now.
All right. Before we do go, I want to invite our listeners once again and our viewing audience to subscribe to the podcast. You can get audio versions of this podcast listed as Insights into Entertainment. Video versions of all the network's podcasts can be found listed as Insights into Things. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, etc., etc. We would also invite you to give us feedback, give us your shows. We want to plug shows, but we're running out of shows to plug. We only have a couple more lined up here, so we would love to get shows from different parts of the country or different parts of the world. I mean, we've got listeners all over the world, so we would love to get more shows to talk about.
Yeah.
You can email those in to comments@insightsintothings.com.
You can find us on Twitter at insights_things.
We're on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast.
You can find us on Instagram at Insights Into Things.
You can get audio versions of this podcast listed as podcast.insightsintoentertainment.com on the web.
You can find video versions of all of our podcasts at youtube.com/Insights Into Things.
You can also find us streaming 5 days a week on Twitch at twitch.tv/insightsintothings. One other thing that's worth plugging now that will be working will be podcast.insightsintothings.com for all of our videos. That will be up and running within a day.
Nice. And links to all of our websites and all of our profiles.
Right. All of our digital mugshots.
All of our cute little Disney faces can be found at insightsintothings.com.
And that's it. Another one in the books.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.